Oslo, Norway, May 31st, 1995. The story begins in the elegant Oslo Plaza Hotel, now known as the Radisson Blu Plaza Hotel, one of the tallest and most luxurious hotels in Scandinavia. Business travelers, politicians, international visitors. It was exactly the type of place where someone could disappear into the crowd. At approximately 10:40 p.m., a young woman walked into the lobby. Employees described her as elegant, well-groomed. Around 24 to 30 years old. Modern forensic estimates place her close to 24. Approximately 5 feet 3 inches. Dark brown hair, brown eyes, calm and polite. She spoke fluent English and German, but investigators could never determine where she was actually from. She registered under the name Jennifer Fairgate. Although she actually misspelled it as Fairgate on hotel paperwork, she listed an address in Verlaine, Belgium. Police later discovered the street didn't exist. The house number didn't exist. The postal code didn't exist. Even the phone number was impossible. Every single piece of information she provided was fake. Jennifer reserved the room for 2 people. The second guest was listed as Lois Fairgate, but no one ever confirmed his identity. Most employees remembered Jennifer checking in alone. One witness later believed they had seen her with a tall man. Police never located him. No one even knows if he existed. Jennifer was assigned room 2805 on the 28th floor. Oddly, she brought almost nothing. Inside the room, investigators found almost no personal belongings. No suitcase, no passport, no purse, no cosmetics. No family photographs. Nothing that could identify her. It looked less like someone living there, and more like someone passing through. Over the next 3 days, Jennifer barely interacted with anyone. She ordered almost nothing. She drank a few soft drinks from the minibar. She bought potato chips. She spent most of her time unseen. But one discovery would later confuse investigators: the electronic key card. Every time someone entered the room using a key card, the hotel computer logged it. Jennifer entered the room only a handful of times during her stay. Even stranger. Housekeepers entered on Thursday afternoon and found the room completely empty. Based on the keycard records, investigators concluded the room may have been vacant for roughly 20 to 24 hours before she returned Friday morning. Where she went during that time has never been explained. Friday evening, Jennifer ordered room service. Bratwurst, potato salad, a soft drink. The employee delivering the meal later said something felt unusual. The room was spotless. The bed looked barely used. There were almost no belongings visible. Jennifer was polite. She tipped generously. Nothing suggested anything was wrong. The meal would become important later. The autopsy showed she had eaten only part of it shortly before her death. The front desk attendants noticed Jennifer had never provided payment information, and her bill began to mount. No credit card, no cash deposit, no identification. The hotel sent several payment reminders through the television system. Each time, someone acknowledged the message by selecting OK, but Jennifer never came downstairs. Eventually, security was sent to room 2805 on Saturday evening at around 7:50 p.m. A security guard walked down the hallway. He knocked. Almost immediately, he heard a gunshot from inside. The sound startled him. Believing someone inside had a firearm, he retreated to get help. For approximately 15 minutes, room 2805 remained unguarded while he called law enforcement and awaited their arrival. When security and police entered, Jennifer was lying on the bed. She had been shot in the forehead. A Browning 9mm pistol rested in her right hand. The room was locked from the inside. No one else was present. At first glance, it appeared to be suicide. But then, the questions began. Jennifer had no identification. Every clothing label had been carefully removed. Not torn, cut. Nearly every label. Police believed this had been done deliberately to prevent investigators from tracing where the clothing had been purchased. Although witnesses had seen Jennifer arrive, none could remember her carrying luggage. Yet she had enough clothing to change outfits. Where were the missing bags? No one knows. The Browning pistol had its serial number removed. Police couldn't determine where it had been purchased. Even stranger, there were extra rounds of ammunition in a briefcase. Why would someone planning suicide bring dozens of extra bullets? No one has ever answered that question. Perhaps the most famous detail in the case. Almost no usable fingerprints were found on the gun. Even Jennifer's fingerprints were minimal. Some investigators suggested recoil, handling, or cleaning could explain this. Others felt it was unusual enough to raise questions. Investigators began to look into every detail. They noticed Jennifer looked expensive. She wore quality clothing, Italian shoes, a gold ring, a high-end Citizen Aqualand watch whose battery had recently been replaced. She appeared financially comfortable, yet she checked into a luxury hotel without paying. Norwegian police searched extensively. Fingerprints, dental records, missing persons databases, Interpol, nothing. No one recognized her. No family came forward. No employer reported her missing. No country claimed her. She simply didn't exist. While investigating, they found that Jennifer did try to make a phone call from her hotel room. 2 failed international calls from her hotel room to Belgium. The calls were to Belgian area codes consistent with the address she gave. Verlaine, Belgium. The numbers differed by only 1 digit, suggesting she may have been uncertain about the exact number or misread a digit while dialing. Both calls did not connect, and no recipient was identified. Authorities examined the phone activity, but could not trace the calls or identify the intended recipients even after trying multiple variations of the phone number. The fact that she dialed numbers linked to the address she provided has led to speculation. Some believe it could have been a slip of the finger, since 8 and 0 are adjacent on a keypad, while others think it may have been intentional to mislead investigators. With very little evidence of the possibility of foul play, police officially ruled Jennifer's death a suicide. Supporting points include the room was locked from the inside. Security heard the gunshot after knocking. No clear evidence of another person in the room. No signs of a struggle. Many investigators still believe this is the simplest explanation. Others disagree. Questions remain. Why remove every clothing label? Why use a fake identity? Where is the luggage? Why were there so few fingerprints? Could someone have left during the 15-minute gap after the gunshot? Some researchers argue it would have been difficult, while others think it cannot be entirely ruled out. This theory exploded after the case appeared on documentaries and online forums. The mid-1990s were only a few years after the end of the Cold War. Jennifer spoke multiple languages, used a false identity, had no traceable past, stayed in an international hotel. Some believe she may have been involved in intelligence work. However, there has never been any evidence proving this theory. It remains speculation. More than 20 years later, Norwegian journalists from VG reopened the case. They exhumed Jennifer's body. New forensic testing estimated she was likely about 24 years old. Researchers re-examined her teeth, clothing, watch, and possible links to Belgium and Germany. Despite renewed publicity, her identity remains unknown. Jennifer Fairgate checked into room 2805 under a name that never existed. She left behind no passport, no driver's license, no family, no history, no future, only questions. Who was she? Why did she hide her identity? Why has no one ever claimed her? And perhaps the biggest mystery of all, was Jennifer Fairgate truly alone in room 2805? Or did the only witness to what happened die with her?